what happened after you started speaking out? How did they actually started canceling you? Say even things that you may think are insignificant or small or irrelevant. Because I think everything matters. Because when I say to people, even in my language, or when I say stories like this, they don't believe me. Like, or they say, oh, it's just TikTok, like it's nowhere else, like it's not in real life, and so on. So please tell me, like, how did they try to cancel you exactly?
Yeah, the biggest attempt was in the wake of an article I wrote for the Wall Street Journal. It was called "The Dangerous Denial of Sex," and it sort of spelled out what sex is and why it's important, and why can't go down that pathway of denying such a fundamental aspect of our biology. In the wake of that article, there were a lot of Twitter campaigns to sort of get me canceled and labeled as a transphobe. So people would make these long threads and they would tag in Penn State, which was the university I worked in right now, saying like, Penn State, are you aware that you have this transphobe working for you? Are you really an inclusive campus? Are you, you're creating a unsafe environment for students on your campus, et cetera, all that stuff. I had students from my campus contact the diversity and inclusion people in my department, telling them that my article made them feel unsafe on campus. There's a big job board that anyone in my field who's an evolutionary biologist or an ecologist uses to sort of look for jobs. It's called the Evo Jobs Wiki. It's this big Google document, and you can, if you see a job that's not there, you post it, and then everyone can apply to it. And it's just a really great resource at any given moment, especially in the height of hiring season. There's over 1,000 people, ecologists, like on that board looking for it. And some people decided to just upload jobs that weren't really jobs, but they were just, the job title was something like Colin Wright is a transphobe and a race scientist. Don't hire him. And they did this several times, and it's something I'm not capable of deleting. I had to contact the people at the job board, and this thing's up for hours, and all my colleagues seen it. And I got messages from my colleagues saying that they were seeing this thing. And so they had, that was going on. There were just, a lot of my personal colleagues that I've collaborated with were denouncing me on Twitter as a transphobe. So
they have
yeah,
to do that for virtue signaling, right? So that they see
a
like
lot of
they're
them.
safe.
Yeah, some of my colleagues messaged me and saying, because we had collaborated, we had published co-authored papers on spider behavior. That's part of what I did before. And that they said that their colleagues were contacting them because they saw that we co-authored a paper together, and but don't you know Colin is this crazy transphobe, and what are your opinions of him? And so he had to like publicly denounce me. So I maintain to this day that I wasn't canceled, because I eventually left academia on my own. Like I just quit because because I was experiencing cancel culture, and I think that they had successfully sort of ruined my reputation, where it would have been very difficult for me to get a tenure track job, as opposed to if I wasn't speaking about this on Twitter, wasn't writing op-eds in big newspapers and things like that. So I think, I didn't get fired from my job, so I don't think I was canceled, but I experienced cancel culture, and I think it was very effective.
Did you not also get some kind of problems with PayPal and Etsy? What happened?
Yeah, so it was PayPal and Etsy. Those were just a few months ago. So I used Etsy to sell some merchandise, really benign stuff. Like it would just, like the logo for my publication, it would just say like Reality's Last Stand, and it had a male and a female symbol on it. Like, and then I had a political cartoon that Elon Musk tweeted before that went really viral, and so I sold that too. And then everything else was variations of just Reality's Last Stand and the male and female symbol. Nothing even about trans people that you could see on there. And they decided that they wanted to ban me for life for glorifying and promoting violence against minority groups, which is completely insane.
Yeah, what's really weird is that you are actually being pretty careful in terms of like wording and how do you write stuff and say stuff, and they're not, like, in my opinion, they're not threatening in anyone's opinion who has any common sense, I think. But somehow, yeah.
I'm the least provocative person. Like there's some people online who are trying to be provocative, and like I'm trying to just be like the reasonable adult in the room most of the time. Is kind of my internet persona. And that's just kind of how I am in general too. But what was more sort of shocking was that PayPal, which I used to give, to allow people to send me donations if they just wanted to support me. They can subscribe to my Substack, but I had an option where they could just donate directly if they just wanted to donate. And PayPal also, they one day I just got an email and it says, you are no longer allowed to use PayPal or something like that. And it said, I'm banned for PayPal for life. They didn't give me a reason whatsoever. They said, and when I tried to appeal and ask about, why did this happen, I got a response saying that if I wanted to learn why my account was banned, I'd have to get have a lawyer get a subpoena to submit to a court to find out why. Like I'd have to actually go this legal route, which is insane.
Wow.